Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I am Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Sorry I haven't been blogging in a while. I've had a lot of stuff going on. But it is Halloween night here in New York in the Catskills. We're just recovering from Hurricane Sandy. We were safe where I'm at here in Ellenville. We didn't lose electricity at all, my restaurant nor my house. People in our immediate area did lose electricity, and just outside of us a lot of electricity. We barely got any rain and barely got any wind, so we lucked out. Today's mission is nutrition in a hospital. How do you get better nutrition in a hospital? How to demand for things and get things to happen in a hospital. Now, I'm going to talk about my recent experience at Orange Regional Medical Center in Middletown, New York. It's a brand new hospital, a year old. It's gorgeous, but they're serving lots of high fructose corn syrup there. It's the same as most hospitals. All the hospitals I've seen, it's just the same old denatured, devalued, processed crap food that they expect, patients to get well on. Well, I don't think they expect patients to get well on, because it doesn't make common sense to say, hey, people shouldn't be eating this. So my father goes in for, excuse me, my father goes in for a pacemaker. I mean, my father's not the healthiest person. He goes in for a pacemaker operation. He has pneumonia on top of it. And it's really just a sad situation. It was a very long, drawn-out surgery at the hospital. Usually like 2 hours, I think, pacemakers. This was a 5-hour operation. So the following morning, when he's in his hospital room, he's not doing well at all. You just have a surgery like that, and it was traumatic for him. His blood pressure was really elevated. So having on a bunch of drugs and pain medications, so he's kind of out of it. Not doing that well. That's what I mean by not doing that well. He's in recovery. His first day was in ICU. So I went right to the head nurse there. I just pulled the head nurse. I said, listen, I want no food from the cafeteria in here whatsoever. I don't want it. She goes, okay, I'll make a phone call. I'll make sure nothing. I said, make sure you make all the notations so all the other nurses know and the cafeteria knows not to send him food. I'll take care of it, no problem. An hour later, they send up food for him. They're asking if he wants coffee. Okay, they're asking a heart patient if he wants coffee. He has high blood pressure. He was on meds for high blood pressures. His blood pressure was 200 over 1 something after the surgery. They want to offer him coffee with caffeine. The Orange Regional Medical Center? Come on, coffee with caffeine? Next thing they're giving him right there is cranberry juice with high fructose corn syrup in it. The fructose corn syrup, sugar, anything like that, not good for your immune system. He's fighting pneumonia as well. You're trying to keep him sick? Come on. Then they give him scrambled eggs. And it's like, hello, have you seen the nutritional profile of an egg, the cholesterol, the fat content? Look at my father. He's overweight. It's like, are you trying to keep him here in the hospital? So I pulled the guy aside, and the delivery guy's like, listen, I don't want anything coming in this room unless it's organic and raw. He's like, I don't know if we have anything like that. I said, I know you don't, and that's my point. I don't want anything coming from the cafeteria in this food. I'm taking care. So immediately the cafeteria supervisor, nutritionist, dietitian comes up, and I heard you were making some requests. I said, I'm not making requests. I'm just making a statement. I've asked now twice to make sure no food is coming up here, and food has showed up into my father's room. I'm taking care of his nutrition. My specific comment was said, I don't want any cafeteria food unless you have something that's organic and raw. Then we'll consider that. She goes, oh no, we don't have anything that's organic. And I was like, I'm really against nutrition here. The stuff you sent up here was pathetic for a heart patient. It was downright pathetic. So I said, I know it's not your fault, it's the system's fault, but it's pathetic and somebody needs to make a change somewhere. So I asked to speak to a liaison at Orange Regional Medical Center. I asked to speak to a liaison. I said, listen, I don't want any more confusion here. There's no food coming from your cafeteria into my father's room. She goes, I've never heard of such a request. And I said, where would you like to start with what's wrong with the hospital food? Here and in most hospitals. She's like, really? I didn't know there's stuff wrong with... I was like, and I went over the same stuff, caffeine, sugars, denatured food. I just went down this whole list of stuff with her. The high fructose corn syrup, the eggs for a heart patient. I was like, look at the menu. There's meatloaf on the menu. You're gonna let my father order meatloaf and a burger? He's a heart patient. I mean, this is ridiculous. You don't have whole grain bread. You don't, even if it says whole grain, it's not really whole grain. It's the whole wheat hoax. Watch one of my videos on a whole wheat hoax. She's like, I've never heard of this before. I'm like, I'm trying to get my father out of here, not keep him in here. And you guys are keeping him on all these medications, and it just doesn't make sense, does it? So I said, so she respected my wishes, and she said, okay, I'll make sure. And she went to the cafeteria, and she, made sure that nobody couldn't even order from the room. So if he wanted something, I would have to be the person to call, and I went over all the ingredients. But the bottom line is here, and as this is happening, I have relatives in the room that are saying, he needs to eat the food here. They know what they're doing here. They know what's going on. They wouldn't poison him. He needs food in his stomach. And this, in the meantime, I have a whole cooler worth of food that I'm giving my father. But this is the mentality of guests, of patients, and the family members, and the staff, that nothing's wrong with the food in hospitals. It is pathetic. Those nutritional shakes they give you, I'm doing a whole video on another hospital, Kingston Hospital. The stuff I was able to get out of that hospital just recently, the packages of these nutritional shakes when people won't eat, and they have to drink something like a chocolate milk flavored thing, it is pathetic and disgusting. I know, that they have to mask the flavors and do stuff, but you have to put sugar and corn syrup, the first 5 out of the 6 ingredients, genetically modified corn syrup, and the first 5 out of 6 ingredients in a product. I mean, it's like so ridiculous. And they're made by these big, massive corporations like Hormel. Hormel is like one of the most unethical big food manufacturers out there that doesn't care about anything about health and about environmental issues. It's a big industrial food company. That's going to be a whole nother blog. So when you're in a hospital, you have the right to question what they're doing. I asked for an IV vitamin C drip. And the doctor there, this is going to be a whole nother video. I'm going to break this up into several different videos. But, you have the right to say, if I don't want this done, give me the alternative. Because a lot of people just say, I'll just take what you have. Oh, I need a pacemaker? I wished I was there right then and there when they said, because they rushed my father in, and before I could even get to the hospital in an hour, they had already started the operation. I wanted to find out, what else can you do? Did you diagnose? I knew he had pneumonia before he even went to the hospital. I could have told you that he had pneumonia and he's out of breath and he's going to be exhausted and everything. So you have to really say to them, what if I'm saying no to this, what's your next option? And then after they give you the next option, then weigh out both options. Or, that's because they're just going to give you the first option that makes the most sense. A lot of it's financial sense to them, and they're just going to do things. So I was able to get him a high quality probiotic. I was able to bring his own meals in. I was able to even get him vitamin C, which is a very rare thing. They didn't give him a vitamin C drip. I'm very upset about not giving the vitamin C drip, because Orange Regional Medical, you could have had the power to get a vitamin C IV drip. They're very simple to get. The pharmacist could have got them. You guys were lazy, and again, you told me I've never heard of such a thing. That's a whole nother blog. But when you have loved ones in hospitals, you have to be very aggressive, and you have to speak to the liaison, and you've really got to say, this is what I want. This is what I need. I want more options than you're giving me right now. And don't be afraid to call the cafeteria and go through all. My father wanted something, I ended up getting him oatmeal, but I went through all the ingredients in the food. I made them read off the ingredients. And it is pathetic. The white flour, the trans fats, the cottonseed oil, the corn oil, the maltodextrin, all the crap and fillers, and fat and sugars is disgusting. They're not in the nutritional business. The hospital's not in the nutritional business. They don't care about nutrition. They're not taught nutrition. The dietitians are not taught. Watch my video on how the ADA, the American Dietetic Association, is a scam. It is a downright scam. It's funded by Pepsi and Coke and big pharmaceutical companies, and they teach you that a tablespoon of corn syrup metabolizes the same way as a pear does. That it's metabolized the same. I'm sorry, it doesn't. A pear, fruit has enzymes, which metabolize the sugar, and fiber, which buffers the sugars, the fructose, the natural fructose found in it. When you isolate fructose, like high fructose corn syrup or sugars, from beets or whatever you're making, sugarcane, you're turning it into sugar or corn, high fructose corn syrup, you're removing the enzymes, you're removing the fiber, you're removing all the nutrients, you're removing the protein, you're removing everything. That is a denatured, that is a simple sugar. It is a refined sugar. It metabolizes much different than a pear, an apple, a banana. Okay, because they scare you to, don't eat too many bananas, don't do this, So they're willing to give you all the corn syrup and then scare you with don't eat too much fruit. This is what they did in the hospital. It's so ridiculous what these doctors do. and these nurses and these dietitians. The dietitians are the worst because they're fed the wrong nutritional information right from the go, right from dietetic school, because their funding's not coming from the fruit industry. Their funding's coming from the corn syrup industry, from Coke, from Pepsi, from the big chocolate producers, from the candy producers. That's where their funding comes from, and that's what they're taught. They're taught what protects the special interest that funds the American Dietetic Association. American Dietetic Association is a fraud, okay? A total fraud. You need a dietitian who has that degree, because they have to have that degree to be in hospitals. A lot of states need that just to talk about nutrition. But then you need someone with a good holistic nutritional background who can now say, I've gone to ADA school, got my ADA degree, but now I know enough to override that. So I have my degree to get in the door and practice, and now I can take my knowledge of the real nutritional, non-funded special interest nutritional, and now put that to use. So demand things in a hospital. Demand. Speak to the liaison. Don't be afraid to say, I'm going to have to speak to my lawyer. I'm going to need to speak to my lawyer because I'm not happy with what's going on here. Okay? And you know what? If you're not happy, go on their Facebook page and post something. I have 2 hospitals now that have banned me from their Facebook page for posting simple questions like, here's the medical research on vitamin C drips. Something like, your doctor didn't know this. Here's the medical literature. Here's this. Or why are you putting corn syrup into food? Yeah, instead of addressing the questions for real, I've had 2 hospitals, Westchester Valhalla and Orange Regional Medical, ban me from their Facebook. Banned. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Be proactive in a hospital.